Guys, I've been having a ton of fun tuning and testing the C6 with its recently installed A&A Corvette Vortex Supercharger system, and it's time to bring you up to speed with everything that's been going on, including footage from my very first racing event with the new Supercharged C6 setup.
Toys for life.
In case you missed it, I did a highly detailed video series on the entire supercharger installation, and there's a link to the first video in the series right up here. In the last video in that series, we left off with me starting the C6's engine right after the last component in the supercharger kit was installed. So I'm going to go ahead and try to give this a start. The first thing I had to do to the C6's tune before starting the engine was to tell the computer that I had gotten rid of the stock 33-pound fuel injectors and replaced them with the 80-pound Bosch injectors. This is fairly easy to do because the injectors that A&A sells come with very good injector data that I can program into the car's computer with HP tuners. But there was a problem. My C6's ECM is hard programmed by Chevrolet to only be able to see injectors flowing up to 63 pounds per hour. And like I said, my injectors are 80 pounds per hour. Thankfully for me, the tuners that came before me figured out a long time ago that if you lie to HP tuners, yes, you've got to tell a couple lies and enter in double the actual stoichiometric ratio for the fuel you're using, and then tell HP tuners a second lie and enter in 1/2 of the actual flow rate for the injectors you're using into HP tuners, then I will be able to use my 80-pound injectors and it'll work pretty darn good, and that's exactly what I did. I also needed to enter the other important injector data characteristics that were provided on the injector data sheet into HP tuners as well. And that additional injector data can be the actual data. No more lies required. After reprogramming the C6's ECM with the updated tune, I took it for a spin and it ran surprisingly well. For this first test drive, I'm only driving with part throttle operation, and I'll be closely watching the fueling to make sure it's not running crazy rich or crazy lean. As it turns out, the part throttle fueling was very close as is. I had expected it to be off by quite a bit, mainly because the mass airflow sensor, which the ECM relies upon a lot, now lives inside this shiny tube instead of the old plastic LS3, LS7 air intake assembly. And that can absolutely change the airspeed as it flows across that mass airflow sensor element, making the existing scaling in your old tune off by quite a bit. Here's a look at that first HP Tuners scan data from driving around the newly supercharged C6 at part throttle. And this chart shows the fuel correction being made by the short and long-term fuel trims at the various mass airflow sensor frequencies. As we move to the right on the chart, the top number is the mass airflow sensor frequency, and the lower number is the average fuel correction being made by a combination of the short and long-term fuel trims in plus or minus percentage. As we progress in the tuning, I like to see these numbers end up at plus or minus 5%, and as we move to the right, I like to see those numbers become more slightly negative of say 0 to negative 3%. Why? Because positive fuel trims will carry over into wide open throttle. Negative fuel trims will not carry over and subtract fuel at wide open throttle, and most tuners want wide open throttle fueling to be as commanded. So now that I was fairly confident that the part throttle tune was in the ballpark, I made some additional changes allowing the tune to cope with the additional pressure being created by the supercharger without freaking out and going into limp mode. And I also lowered the RPM point to make sure that priority is given to the mass airflow sensor side of the tune and less priority given to the speed density side of the tune. Not gonna lie, at this point I was very eager to get out there and make some short hits, starting from 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs, and then 4,000 to 5,000 RPMs, followed by 5,000 to 6,000 RPMs, and after each hit, evaluating the tune to make sure the fueling was where I wanted it between 0.76 and 0.8 lambda, and also to make sure I wasn't getting any material amounts of knock retard, and I wasn't. It was at that point that I installed the 2-bar manifold absolute pressure sensor, and with a little bit of hand holding from Brian at Dyno Tune Motorsports, I modified the tune so that it could properly interpret the data coming from that new 2-bar sensor. Now it was time to go out and answer the question that everybody wants to know, and that is, how much boost is the Supercharged LS2 making? Boost is a concept that is widely misunderstood by a lot of people. If you follow my channel, then you may recall that my supercharged C5 that essentially has a bone stock LS1 engine makes around 12 to 13 pounds per square inch of boost in the upper RPM range. That number would be quite a bit lower if I lessened the restriction of airflow into and out of the engine in the C5 by adding a performance camshaft and headers, because obviously the reason we do those things is to lessen the restriction of flow into the engine with the cam and out of the engine with the headers. So that means there would be less boost on my gauge, but more air flowing through the motor, and at the same time more power being made. The C6 already had a performance cam and headers, and to try to keep the horsepower at the rear tires at or below 600, I also used a slightly larger pulley on the supercharger, which independently will keep the boost levels down a little bit, in addition to the lower boost levels I expect to see because of the performance cam and headers versus the C5's boost level. With all of that having been said, let's see how much boost the C6 is making. And it looks like that number peaks out right around 6 pounds per square inch in the mid to upper RPM range. Take a look at that horsepower number. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure it's not accurate, but I do expect the horsepower of the Supercharged LS2 at the crank to be somewhere in the mid to upper 600 range. Perhaps I'll book an appointment a little bit later in the summer after I've got the tune as far as I can get it on the street as far as part throttle tuning goes, and at the track for wide open throttle tuning. However, there's one thing you get when you add an A&A Corvette supercharger system to your Corvette that you just don't get with something like a cam and headers, and that is an undeniable seat of the pants, large boost in horsepower. And here's what I'm talking about. Now obviously the tuning has taken quite a bit longer than what was shown in this video, but if you're an intermediate like me, you can get it pretty close by starting with the base tune that A&A will send you along with your supercharger kit upon request, and then fine-tuning it from there. Alternatively, you can seek remote professional tuning help by somebody like Brian at Dyno Tune Motorsports, so long as you have HP tuners already, a wideband oxygen sensor, and some basic tuning skills. The final option, which is probably for most people out there, would be to take your Corvette to your closest, well-respected, and that's key, LS tuner and have them tune it. Now at this point, I was really itching to drive the newly supercharged C6 even more, and I was in luck because the local Corvettes of Minnesota club just held an autocross event at my local track, and I attended. The closed fist that he's holding up means I didn't hit any cones.
Thank you.
And here you can see all of the training police and other vehicles they also have here at Dakota County Technical College, where their primary mission is to train law enforcement and emergency responders how to drive at speed. And finally, a short drive back to the pits, where the other, mostly Corvette participants, are parked. Guys, that's a wrap on this video and the whole how to install an A&A Corvette Supercharger Kit on your C6 video series. If you like the videos, please tap the thumbs up so YouTube knows to share them. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And most of all, thanks for watching.